Welcome to the Private AI Lab, the podcast where we experiment, explore, and debate the future of AI behind the firewall. I'm your host, Johan, and every month I have a guest in the lab to break down real-world use cases, challenges, and innovations shaping private AI. In this episode, not one, but two guests will join me in the lab to talk about open source AI at NVIDIA GTC. It's SUSE's Rhys Oxenham, who's the VP and GM for AI, and Sanjeet Singh, Senior Director for SUSE AI. Enjoy the episode. Rhys and Sanjeet, welcome to the Private AI Lab. Let's do a quick round of introductions. And Rhys, I'll start with you. So who is Rhys and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks so much for having us. Certainly a pleasure to be here. So, my name's Rhys Oxenham. I'm the Vice President and General Manager of SUSE AI. So I look after the day-to-day business operations, including all things product and marketing functions for our AI portfolio. Full disclosure, this is only, I think, week 5 of me being into this position. I joined Sanjeet and the team very recently, the incredible SUSE AI team. But I've actually been with the company for 3 years. So I started off my time here leading engineering for our telco and our edge solutions. So don't be surprised if I start talking about some of the opportunities within those sectors for AI.
Awesome, no worries. Looking forward to them. Yeah. So Sanjeet, what about you? Who's Sanjeet, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Hi there. So my name is Sanjeet Singh, and I'm the Senior Director of SUSE AI, focused specifically on these strategic partnerships. As you know, in the AI space, it's all about partnerships. We have to build a large ecosystem of partners that are all the way from silicon vendors to the large OEM providers, as well as the ISV ecosystem. So my focus is around the partnerships. Historically, I have had product management roles within SUSE. I ran the product management team for SUSE AI as well. And I've been at the company for almost 10 years, primarily in the product management space, doing cloud, doing storage, going back all the way to 9 or 10 years that I've been at SUSE now.
Cool. Well, thanks for the introductions. So this is another episode focusing on NVIDIA GTC. As you can see, the lighting has been adjusted to green, and there's an orange gecko hanging over there.
We love green.
Good. And orange geckos, I guess.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So, kind of the main topic of the show is focused on open source AI. And open source AI has a big focus at GTC this year. You being SUSE, you guys, being part of SUSE and working on SUSE AI, I think it was kind of the perfect match since you guys have a massive focus on open source technology in general. So I first kind of want to set the base. What does open source AI mean? I'll start with Rhys. What does open source AI mean to you?
Yeah, so I think I would look at open source AI in kind of 2 lenses. Infrastructure and maybe the components, the applications, there could be models and frameworks that run on top. So, SUSE has a very rich history within the open source space, right? We are an infrastructure software company. We take open source solutions, we package them up for the enterprise. And of course, open source technologies power pretty much everything, in the world when it comes to infrastructure. So this is an area that we have a huge amount of experience in. And I think pretty much the whole world is built on top of open source AI infrastructure, be that Linux, be that Kubernetes, be that a whole host of supporting components that really power that underlying infrastructure. Then when we look at, what actually runs on top? In open source AI, you've got models, you've got inference engines. You have various different additional components that may help with vector databases, observability, security, guardrails. There's a whole ecosystem of components that really support this. And I think open source AI is very much a place where we're seeing a huge amount of innovation happening. I think when people hear the words open source, they often think free. I think there's often this kind of association with perhaps inferior, but actually that couldn't be further from the truth, right? You look at where innovation is going and just the sheer amount of innovation that comes out of the open source world. You have to look at Linux and Kubernetes to just realize that these are incredibly innovative spaces. And so we are really grateful to be part of open source AI, and we're really trying to build bridges into the enterprise world so that enterprises can really consume it and really leverage that innovation that I was talking about.
Yeah, Sanjeet, do you have anything to add there? Like,
I think Rhys covered it really well, but I like to sort of think about in the AI space, open source is sort of in multiple categories. There's also the question of the models themselves and the open weights that are associated with these models. What open source AI is specifically in this space also includes those open weights, because that allows customers to run these models on their own infrastructure. And that is a very key game changer, almost a development that's happened over the past couple of years in this space, because now you are not just reliant on having to send your private data to a public model that is hosted by one of the cloud providers, one of the providers that you may not be comfortable sharing your data with, because even if they say we will not steal your data, the patterns will get leaked. So what open weights allow you to do is to actually build a private AI solution in your own enterprise. And we are starting to see this really pick up with enterprises. A large bank might not be comfortable sharing their patterns of data with a cloud provider, because that will get shared with some other competitor of theirs. That is how AI works, right? It learns from one place and applies it to something else. What this bank would like to do is to basically pick up a pre-trained model, fine-tune or do RAG around their own data that they might have, and then just consume it internally, thus ensuring that their patterns aren't leaked, their core IP doesn't get leaked out. So what open source AI has allowed the industry to do, is to build a far more robust and capable infrastructure, if you will, software, hardware infrastructure, so that enterprises can keep their data under control. That is the other advantage of this whole concept of open weights that has come about. And of course, there is the underlying open source software, and that sort of spans across the training and inference runtimes. It spans across that MLOps stack, which is that end-to-end stack where customers are running those applications in their own data centers.
Yeah, and one thing that's really interesting to me there is, SUSE being a European company, and we've, for obvious reason, we've seen, geopolitical challenges in the recent, let's say, year or so. Last year at GTC Europe, there was a massive partnership being announced between Mistral and NVIDIA. So, like, a question to you, Sanjeet, since you're responsible for product as well, has your roadmap, or kind of your roadmap, changed because of all of the all of these things happening in the world, and how did it change?
Yeah, absolutely right. I wouldn't say it changed. Even from the beginning, we pretty much knew that we wanted to do a private AI stack, because that is how we came to the market. When we launched SUSE AI as a platform about a year and a half ago, that is what we were focused on, because we went out and queried our customers, spoke to a number of customers, and they basically kept on and saying, we want to keep data under control. And then on top of that, what happened over the past year, the whole sovereignty angle became even more important because of a variety of reasons. So I wouldn't say we have changed our roadmap significantly, but we have indeed doubled down on the sovereignty concept. In fact, we are working with customers that are building these giant factories and they want to keep their data in-house under control. And that actually is not just a European thing. It is becoming a worldwide thing. It is everywhere now. Specifically in Europe, we are seeing a lot more quotes unquote inbound traffic, if you will. Customers are recognizing the importance of sovereignty and talking to us, and we are providing the sovereignty solutions. We have actually built end-to-end sovereignty solutions that allow customers to sort of ensure that they get full they are able to keep the data in-house. They're able to get support. The software is validated. We are very focused on the software supply chain, security of the supply chain, because that is what our sovereign customers are expecting. In fact, they want to be able to examine specifically where did your software come from, and we have those capabilities as a part of our platform, so that they can build something which is completely secure and is absolutely within their control. Data under control is the key theme we are seeing worldwide, and sovereignty gets sort of just accelerates that even more.
Yeah, and it's obviously essential well, it's not essential, but the more secure you get, the more control you need, the better it is to own your own infrastructure, or to have your own infrastructure, right? So for a while, we've seen that open source models running on-prem had were lacking back in innovation compared to the cloud offerings. And today you see that differently with projects that emerged, like an OpenClaw project, or Cloud Cowork, or all those kind of services that are really innovative. But yeah, the question is, and the question to you, Rhys, is how do you see those open source AI models and solutions innovating compared to AI services like Claude and OpenAI?
Yeah, before we get onto that question, I just want to tie onto what Sanjeet was talking about. In the intro, you and I, Johan, we were talking about my participation at Mobile World Congress this week. So I'm still in Barcelona, heading back over the weekend. But of course, there was a huge buzz around what is going on with AI, specifically in the telco and the edge industries. But specifically is a lot of talk around digital sovereignty and being resilient. And as Sanjeet was saying, and I'm not going to repeat what he was saying, but fundamentally there is a push for organizations to have a little bit more autonomy. And I think it is through the delivery of open source technologies, both at the underlying infrastructure, but also within the components that they run on top, they gain or they retain control over their data and have freedom of choice, both in the infrastructure, where it's run, and under which jurisdiction. So I think that is a super important part, and it's through open source that we're able to really deliver these solutions to our customers. But going specifically to your question, I think there's, of course, a huge amount of innovation happening with frontier models and the major organizations behind them. But I really encourage us not to discount the innovation that is happening within the open source space either. You saw what happened. I mean, look at what happened when DeepSeek came into the market. This really disrupted everything. It showed just how powerful things could be. This came out of nowhere, and it really shook up the industry. And so we are seeing a huge amount of, and I know I keep using this word, but innovation and enhancements happening within the open source world. OpenClaw was, I think, the fastest growing GitHub project on the planet. I think it surpassed pretty much everything. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that we need to be entirely reliant on the big organizations pushing AI development. There's a huge amount that the open source community will do and is doing today.
Yeah, that's then kind of a follow-up question from my side. Community growing so fast because, well, first of all, vibe coding is with vibe coding, it's relatively easy to build new solutions.
Mhm.
I think the general knowledge about AI, ML ops is and application development in general is increasing as well. So like with a massive community backing all of those open source projects versus those frontier models and those AI companies innovating by themselves, will we ever kind of see a feature parity or a similar rate of innovation between those two?
I think it really depends what actually happens in the future, right? Just the rate of change within just the AI ecosystem is I mean, it continues to explode, right? Um, and in many ways, I think that the rest of the industry is still kind of playing catch up. I think it fundamentally depends whether we get to a stage where actually a lot of the breakthroughs start to slow down. So I think one of two things is going to happen. The rate of change in the innovation is going to slow down and we're going to somewhat plateau, and it'll give a lot more room for maybe more of the open source innovation to kind of catch up or reach kind of an equilibrium. Or the other path is it actually continues to explode and we're going to be constantly playing this kind of catch up. I think that really depends, will we ever get to a stage of AGI, let alone super intelligence? Will we be able to keep up with the power consumption required to power a lot of these models? I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges or barriers to the current scale thing that we're kind of chasing at the moment with the current way that LLMs are put together. I think there are a lot of variables here. I don't quite think that there is an easy or clear answer here, but I am, of course, with my history in open source and the innovation that I've seen in the past, again, to repeat myself, we're going to see a lot coming out from the community as well.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
If I may add a couple of things to that, because I think the race between open source versus those closed frontier models may actually evolve in a different direction also. And we are actually seeing examples of this. Let me give you a case in point. What's happening with the open source response to the frontier models is that they're not just copying, but they're innovating in other areas. For example, efficiency. Yes, those frontier models are all powerful, right? But at what cost? They consume significant amount of power. On the other hand, there are these specialized models that are coming out. There was the DeepSeek, I think in December or January, DeepSeek launched the v3.2 Special, they called it, which is a specific model. It matches the GPT-5's performance, and it's only and only built for coding and math. I think, coding only. And then there was the Llama 4 Maverick, and I'm going by history, going by my memory a little bit here, that can match that and is built specifically for math. So what's happening is that open source is innovating in efficiency, because now you can run you can get the same performance, same type of reasoning, but at 1/10 the cost. And then you deploy that model for a very specific use case. You don't have to deploy it for a general purpose chatbot that can answer medical questions as well as math, because those two are incompatible. Or enterprises are gravitating towards these specialized models, which are indeed able to meet the cost and which are able to meet that performance at a significantly lower cost. So we are seeing examples of outperformance, even for that matter, in certain cases, in these open source models, which do not fit the context of what the frontier model companies are doing.
Yeah, you mentioned before that open source in AI can mean different things. It actually means different things. It's models, it's weights, it's the source of the content that you feed into the model, but it's also the platform. So open source has a massive focus at GTC this year. First to you, Sanjeet. Why do you think that is?
I think because, so first of all, if you look at NVIDIA's history, they have been an open source focused company for the longest time. We started working with NVIDIA, I don't even know how many years ago, when we were integrating drivers before AI, before the concept of GPT-based AI, right? It was called ML, machine learning at that time. And we used to integrate the NVIDIA drivers within our SLES platform. For NVIDIA, open source is not new. I think now this is me sitting outside and looking at NVIDIA strategy. They are continuing to provide better and better capabilities for customers of all sorts to be able to deploy their solutions, right? And they realize clearly that open source can offer that almost a second wave of growth for private enterprises who may not be willing to deploy the AGI models, right? Again, going back to that bank example, the bank doesn't want to leak out its patterns, if you will, even if the data doesn't get leaked to a frontier model. So NVIDIA is probably bringing out these open source solutions so that those banks can deploy their own in-house solutions. This is me sitting outside and sort of seeing what NVIDIA is doing, right? NVIDIA is embracing the open source, not new to them. They are continuing to embrace that open source solutions and even doubling down on that so that their customers are well served by these solutions.
And I think you touched upon, sorry, Rhys, you touched upon a really important part there, because there's, and Rhys, you mentioned that in the beginning as well, there's a there's a misconception around open source companies or open source companies offering open source solutions. The fact that I have to pay money for GPUs and sometimes for software running on top of that is one thing, but the fact that they open source most of their software technology for the world to consume is a complete other thing. And the fact that they can support it, that is part of what they do. I read an article, I think last week, that they open sourced their latest autonomous driving model. So you can download that model yourself and run it in whatever experiment you're doing around autonomous driving. So I think that definitely reflects what you're saying, Sanjeet. And Rhys, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, so all I was going to say is open source is not niche. It's absolutely mainstream. It is where we see so much collaboration on fundamentally innovation and making things better and building on top or standing on the shoulders of giants, if I can use that. So I'm not surprised that so many major organizations are not just leveraging open source software, but they are co-collaborating, co-engineering to fundamentally make solutions better. So yeah, I think it will continue to be a major focus for organizations such as NVIDIA. And given the rate of innovation happening in that space, it absolutely makes sense that they continue to push their technologies into it and also champion the benefits of open source collaboration.
Yeah, I fully agree. So I mentioned GTC. Let's jump a little bit into GTC because I went through the content catalog and also the page of sponsors. And like last year, you guys have a booth at GTC. So being one of the partners, being on the show floor, what is it that people will be seeing when they visit your booth?
Yeah, so I can't talk too much about what we're going to be announcing or what we're going to be showing on the booth, but yeah, really. So I have to keep that one a little bit quiet for now, but we are really excited about our participation, of course. So you're going to hear a lot about the work that we're doing to bring our SUSE AI solution, built on top of capabilities from vendors such as NVIDIA. We're super excited to show some of our capabilities, some of the things that we've been working on since the last time we were at GTC. The rate of innovation here at SUSE as well is incredible, and we're really excited to show off some of those capabilities.
So without spilling anything or mentioning it or breaking like an embargo, but so the things that people will be seeing are things they haven't seen before. Then I guess. stuff that you actually have been working on.
In many ways, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
So enablement of technologies on our side in terms of, kind of new capabilities that we're building into our solutions. How do we make it easier for customers to deploy open source technologies? How do they observe, secure, have guardrails around it? Because, as we were talking about earlier, the concept of digital sovereignty and resiliency is incredibly important when, especially here in Europe, right, where customers are looking to build private AI solutions. We're trying to fundamentally make it easy for customers to consume and deploy private AI. But the one thing I can say, we're going to be giving away an NVIDIA DGX Spark on the booth. So for those that want to come and see us, learn about all of the incredible work that we're doing in this space, and take one away, then we look forward to seeing you. Unfortunately, Sanjeet, you cannot enter. I would have loved to have taken this as well. But we're excited.
So will it run RKE2 and Rancher?
There's no reason why it cannot run our Kubernetes. So absolutely. Fundamentally, absolutely.
In fact, when NVIDIA launched Spark, we were one of the cornerstone partners, and we actually certified RKE2 with DGX Spark. That announcement was made a few months ago. So absolutely.
Well, there's a Spark over there, and already got it running. So it's it's pretty cool. So hence the question: are people actually going to see RKE2 and Rancher running on there? But that's really cool. I'll definitely make sure that the listeners will find out that they need to visit the SUSE booth. So, like, focusing on GTC, you guys will be participating and joining GTC as well. Are there specific topics or sessions or things that you look forward to? And Sanjeet, I'll start with you.
Absolutely, right. So I think so. Let's sort of take the Uber context here. Agentic AI was a lot of hype last year, but this year I think it is turning real. It is. Agents are becoming your, how can I describe it? Take a coding agent, right? Instead of being a co-pilot, now these coding agents are on autopilot. Literally, they have taken to the next level. They can autonomously work and do the tasks that these agents are assigned. So this is the year of agentic AI, and this is where this is becoming real for us today. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of the sessions which are talking about how agentic AI is being deployed by many users. I've seen a number of those examples. I'm definitely very much interested in some of the Nemotron 3 sessions, where NVIDIA is talking about how AI just works and not just the chatbot that we have been using for the past couple of years now, right? This is AI in action. That's one area which I'm really interested in, keen in watching. And just out of my personal curiosity, I've been very interested in physical AI, humanoids, because that has been that is completely different, and that is another area which I'm very interested in watching, just to see what is the innovation happening in the industry over there.
Will you guys join SUSECon?
Yes.
Both of you?
Absolutely.
This is going to be a very shameless plug, but there's a session in the content catalog called Sit, Stay, Deploy, where we will bring our robot dog and show how we enriched it with AI and talking to the dog on low level to let it operate, to let it recognize gestures and objects and interact with social media. It's going to be amazing.
That's fantastic. And you've been working with SUSE AI on this, right?
Obviously. And that's really cool. Well, and I'm planning to create another podcast episode specifically on using SUSE AI, but it looks, well, I wouldn't say it looks like, but SUSE AI is advertised primarily right now as a platform that enables you to quickly deploy a virtual assistant. But what we did instead, next to running the virtual assistant and directly integrating it with the robot, we also used SUSE AI to train the model on recognizing those gestures. So we had a data set of roughly 26,000 images, and we built a training pipeline that starts with labeling the images, pulling it through the model, validating, adding landmarks, and what we'll show at SUSE AI is, and at your booth at KubeCon as well, is both the demo of the training pipeline running on SUSE AI and the integration with the virtual assistant to let the dog interact with the stuff that's happening around it. And it has been a real treat abusing, if you will, the SUSE AI platform to get the most out of it. So it's it has been a really cool challenge to get it to work. Both from, like, I'm not a Kubernetes specialist, so diving into it, getting to learn about the platform and how to build it, and now also to use it at its full potential. That was a real treat.
I'll take
That's
issue with
awesome.
one word of yours: abusing. In fact, I would say that you are pushing the platform's capabilities to its extreme. You're pushing the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
That is the power of open source, because what you did was you took it to the next level. SUSE AI is a platform for every customer to be able to build their own applications. And you are an example of exactly what we built this platform for.
Yeah, but fundamentally, right, I think a lot of people, when they think of AI, they think of, oh, it's a chatbot. You ask it questions or generates a picture, generates some videos. But when we are putting our AI solution together, our SUSE AI solution, we really think about it in kind of two ways. Yes, of course, there's more of a generative AI type use case. You've got inference and RAG, but also there's the whole ML ops, the ability to generate fine-tuned distill models. Like, this is also a fundamental aspect of where we are going with SUSE AI. So the fact that you're using it for effectively both is music to my ears.
Good. Talking about music, so is there, Sanjeet, I asked you the question to you already, like what is it that you're looking forward to? So Rhys, any music you look forward to at GTC as well?
Music? Like specific music?
Things that sound like music. Could be anything. No, are there particular things you look forward to at the conference?
Oh, I see. My apologies for the misunderstanding.
No worries.
So full disclosure, like, this is actually going to be my first time at GTC.
Ooh.
So I'm a newbie when it comes to this conference. I've heard very good things about it. So I'm going to try and push my way out to the front of the queue for Jensen's keynote. Although I think I might have to start the queue at 2 a.m. to get in. But we shall see.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of shoes you normally wear at conferences like this, but definitely bring your trainers and leave sneakers and sales shoes at home. I mean, your feet will be happy.
Having spent 3 days on the floor at Mobile World Congress in my business shoes this week, believe me, I fully understand.
Yeah. So Sanjeet, is this going to be your first GTC, or have you been there before?
I've been there before.
Ah, right. So any insider tips?
Yes. Queue up at 2 a.m. because that one is very, very popular. I mean, it's about networking, right? You get to sit with the brains of AI in the entire industry. The entire industry's top AI experts show up over there. You connect with those. I think the sessions are called Connect with Expert sessions, where you can sit with the engineers who are sort of building some of these things. Last time I probably got the most insights when I actually had a one-on-one conversation with some of those engineers. Another one was which I was very excited last year to see, and I'm looking forward this year as well, is that it's called the Inception Startup Pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
You get to see amazing use cases which, like, you couldn't even have imagined in your wildest thinking, and there are these startups which are making those real. So those are, and yes, footwear, definitely walk, because you'll be walking miles and miles every single day. So
yeah, well, Jens, thank you so much for joining me in the Private AI Lab. I am very much looking forward to seeing you in San Jose in a week from now. yeah, again, thanks for joining, and I'll be sure to leave a link to the show notes to both SUSE AI as well as soon as a post is available around all of the announcements, I'll share it in the show notes as well. So any final remarks?
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting you face to face in San Jose.
Awesome.
And definitely want to see that dog at SUSECon as well.
That's right.
Oh, definitely. She will be, or it, or he will be there for a couple of days. So that's definitely gonna be a fun week. Thanks for tuning in to the Private AI Lab. Don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or the Private AI Lab newsletter on LinkedIn. And visit Johan.ml for more insights and experiments. Experiment complete. Until the next one, stay curious.